Does the Bible truly speak of a coming 7-year tribulation? Throughout Scripture, we read about tribulation, either as what believers must endure in Acts chapter 14 verse 22 and Romans chapter 5 verse 3 to verse 4, the Great Tribulation, Matthew 24 verse 21, Revelation chapter 7 verse 14, or Jacob's trouble, Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7 and Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. However, nowhere in Scripture is there a passage that explicitly describes a 7-year tribulation period. Although this idea is popular, it is largely a product of interpretive speculation, particularly through creative manipulation of Daniel chapter 9 verse 24 to verse 27. In this passage, the angel Gabriel explains to Daniel that God has set 70 weeks for the fulfillment of his judgment and the coming of the Messiah. Because Israel was about to complete 70 years of exile, these weeks are understood as weeks of years. A technical difficulty arises when attempting to calculate the 69th week, that's 483 years, to align with Jesus as the Messiah. Two primary interpretations attempt to resolve this. The classical or historical view calculate from Artaxerxes' decree in Ezra chapter 7 verse 11 to verse 26, around 457 BC. Using standard 365 days a year, the 69th week extends to around the time of Jesus' baptism by John the Baptist in 26 AD, with his crucifixion occurring 3.5 years later, around 30 AD. The dispensational view calculates from Artaxerxes' decree in Nehemiah chapter 2 verse 1 to 8, that's 444 BC, which would place the 69th week around 39 AD. To reconcile this, they adopted a symbolic or a prophetic year of 360 days a year. Since the Jews used lunar months within a solar system, they periodically added a 13th month every second or third year to align the festival with the seasons. Using 360-day years, the 69th week aligns with 33 AD, the date they claimed for Jesus' crucifixion. From this point, dispensationalists argue that the final week, 7 years, was temporarily suspended for roughly 2,000 years until the fulfillment of the time of the Gentiles. However, nowhere does Daniel indicate that the last 7 years would be suspended, nor does any scripture state that the Great Tribulation would last 7 years. Additionally, there is no biblical evidence that 70 weeks of Daniel should be interpreted as prophetic 360 days years instead of the standard years. In conclusion, the notion of a 7-year tribulation is a theological construct rather than a biblical truth. Like and subscribe for more 2-minute biblical rebuttals.